Third time's the charm, right? I've really grown to love Gran Turismo 2 for the original PlayStation, even more than when I tried playing it growing up. And now that I've beaten the game twice, I could rest on my laurels. Or so I thought. A devious commenter challenged me to finish Gran Turismo 2 with only yellow cars as a reference to my treatment of any car that I bought in yellow. Consider this challenge accepted. Ahoy there! Yellow. It's bright, it's loud, it's occasionally expensive. Thanks to a comment from a YouTube user, I give up on trying to pronounce your name, we've been given a new challenge for Gran Turismo 2. I even went as far as polling the audience to see if you'd want to see me tackle GT2 with only yellow cars. Well, the voice of the people have spoken. This time, we're going to beat Gran Turismo 2 with yellow cars and only yellow cars. Rules for this challenge are as follows. No restrictions on car nationality. This means I can potentially pick from Japanese car dealers in East City, unlike last time. Obviously, I can only buy cars that come in yellow. Whatever counts as yellow is up to my discretion. I mean, that if it's more orange or green than yellow, I can't use them. If a prize car doesn't come in yellow, I have to sell it. For example, I can't keep the Nissan R30 Skyline Silhouette Formula because it only comes in either red or blue. There are a couple of exceptions to this rule. If a prize car is available in yellow, I'm allowed to replay that race to try and get it in the desired color. And if a car is a racing modification that comes in yellow, I can keep the car so long as I can afford to buy the mod. As always, license tests don't count towards the challenge since they're required to progress through the game. The main incentive for the challenge is to complete special events and Gran Turismo League events. Rally is impossible without a Pikes Peak car, and endurance takes way too long. The super advan rule I imposed partway through my last challenge does not apply here, but I can still install those wheels onto cars, for old time's sake. And lastly, no save states in races. Also, I'm aware of the A-Spec mod for this game, and it has more cars that can be bought with a 10,000 credit budget at the start of the game, but I'm sticking with vanilla for this challenge, since I'd rather try this mod out on its own. And I'll do my best to not turn this run into a Wangan Midnight fanfiction. It's a casual playthrough. And away we go! Even though I'm not bound by any country restrictions for this challenge, I still don't have a lot to choose from on day one in-game. No used cars in East City could be had in yellow for the starting budget, so some research whittled things down to two choices: a Toyota Vitz and its 69 giggity horsepower, or everyone's favorite K-truck, the Daihatsu Midget 2. I initially went with a Midget 2, but it didn't make the cut because it was going absolutely nowhere even with a Stage 1 turbo upgrade. I reset the game and picked the yellow Vitz. At least it wasn't pink. I spent my remaining money on a flywheel upgrade, but alas, victory was not an option with the limited amount of credits available at the start. Cars in Sunday Cup were faster than the yellow Vitz, and I resigned myself to a 4th place finish. I sighed and went back to Sunday Cup again because I didn't have enough money for a power upgrade. I ended up doing worse because of me forgetting to brake at the hard right and ending up in 5th. But with 1,000 credits I can only buy a performance chip that gave me meaningless gain. I was about to reset the game again and go for license golds like last time, but I remembered there's one-make races. Maybe I'd be able to get going with Vitz Trophy. The random track chosen was Trial Mountain. Would it work? Yes, but barely. The racing chip might not have been as meaningless as I assumed it would be, since the Vitzes had slightly more power than I did, but Forza strats paid off, and also saving money by not buying the racing chip. And it gave me enough money to buy a Stage 1 turbo, except I also didn't buy the turbo because of what happened with the Midget when it ran out of gears. Instead of Sunday Cup, I'd run the Vitz Trophy again. Fate would take us to Autumn Ring Reverse, and that's not a good pick for the Vitz even with its upgrades. Gotta love rubber banding. I just kept wasting time trying to get the course I wanted that would work in the Vitz's favor. I'd had enough and I went back to Sunday Cup. Stupid rubber banding made it a win by 1/100 of a second, but at least it was good enough to give us more money. Now I bought the turbo since it was the best way to get power in this car. I did not want to go back to Sunday Cup again, so I took the turboed Vitz to race one of lightweight K-Car Cup at Rome Short. The potential payout was higher than any of Sunday Cup, plus I could sell the prize car if I won. There was still rubber banding to some extent, but not as bad as Sunday Cup or Vitz Trophy. Generally speaking, the closer you tune a car to the horsepower limit, the easier a race will be. And that was the case with our stroll in Rome. As much as I love the Midget 2, I think we're sticking with the yellow Vitz. 5,000 credits later, and we're graced by the Honda Mugen Beat, which came in red. With an extra 2,000 credits, we could upgrade the Vitz again and send it back to Rome for another 7k. I know I'm gonna have to do licenses at some point, but I've got my current game plan to save up for a true first car. When in Rome, I thought about giving the yellow Vitz a nickname since I'm gonna be spending a fair bit of time with it. But since I'm a car guy, there was only one name that came to mind.
Jeff.
Wait. The Mugen Beat comes in yellow? I'm keeping this. It was time to take Jeff for yet another stroll around Rome Short. Jeff felt so much more responsive than he did when I first bought him. Now before you ask, no, the Vitz is not a K car. It might be small enough to just barely qualify, but being a K car is based on Japanese classifications for engine output and size. I can assure you the Vitz's engine has more displacement than a K car. Because I don't have to limit myself on where to buy from, I kept browsing the used car dealers for any good yellow cars. The sunburst yellow Miata tempted me, but I passed on it for now. I had to set a goal for myself. I wanted to save up for a yellow car with at least 200 horsepower. But to do the races that would get me to that goal, I knew it was time to bite the bullet and do license tests, starting with National B license. I'm not going for gold here, so I don't have to take these tests seriously. I just need to pass. I did get gold on Circle 2, but who's keeping score? After starting, stopping, circling, and yelling at Ford Cougars, I passed B license with little hassle. Despite that, Jeff couldn't stay out of Rome. Sure, Rome is pretty with the Colosseum and the Vatican and all that, but I think you folks at home don't want to see it over and over again. Now armed with over 16k in our bank, we could finally buy the real first car, which is going to be the Mercury Cougar XR7. A suspension upgrade should help with its handling as we give Clubman Cup the old college try, but I guess we're still stuck in Rome for the time being. Right away, this Cougar is leagues faster than Jeff, easily reaching 100 miles per hour in the first sector. And, let me check my notes here real quick. Let's see. Yep, it's still an American muscle car. Subpar handling matched to exceptional straight-line speed. No Lotus or Mini could keep up with the Cougar on the long stretches of Rome Short, giving us 5k and nothing more. Still no prizes for Clubman Cup, but at least we could upgrade the Cougar to put it on a diet and install a racing chip. Off to Grindelwald for the first time. The S2000 and Chimera gave me a spook on lap 2, but I held onto the Cougar and kept them all from overtaking me. These guys must have done their homework on me or something. Either that or rubber banding. 6,000 credits and I called it a night. I think I'll handle the rest of the license tests tomorrow. Getting off the ground is the hard part of any Gran Turismo game, but it doesn't take long to get into the swing of things. Getting back into the swing of things, I took another crack at the Sunday Cup with the Cougar at High Speed Ring. I would kill for a good set of racing tires on this thing, but it's a luxury we can't afford at this time. Even with the additional 4,000 credits for winning. I really didn't want to go back to license tests to start, but I didn't have much of a choice if I wanted to enter more races. National A was next. Oversteer, understeer, braking, and cornering were all on the agenda. No golds to be had here, but a few silvers. National A license is now ours. Armed with our new license, I decided to give the yellow Mugen Beat some upgrades for the rest of K-Car Cup, dumping most of my money into an NA tune-up and a new muffler. Adding a turbocharger was not an option since it needed to stay within the 98 horsepower limit. Seattle Short proved that the Beat needs a bit more oomph, since the other K-Cars kept close to me. Get those bagpipes out of my ears!
Never played before in my life.
When I said the Beat needed upgrades, I meant it, since I ended up in a photo finish with the Alto on the final straight. At least the 6K and Mazda Demio will help us recover costs and eardrums. Okay, maybe not eardrums. One transmission upgrade later, and we're off to our old nemesis Tahiti Road. And I was blessed with not one, but two Mazda Speed AZ1s. They proved to be my main competition aside from running out of gears. I guess that's the price I pay for being a cheapskate and skimping out on the transmission. The Mugen CRX Pro 2 helped offset the costs. I decided it was license time again, so I went to finish off the rest of the licenses up to International A. Also, did you know these cars with D rights on them are exclusive to the license tests? After avoiding Camaro PTSD and chicaning around Midfield Raceway, we had International C license. International B is what I call the rally license, since that's where the rally techniques are introduced. They're easy to get gold on. I've always wondered what kind of tire compounds are being used to get a front-wheel drive car to oversteer. This Mustang Cobra gave me a bit of trouble, but I was able to pass after a few tries. The slalom tests were never my favorite and made my acquisition of the license a bit longer than I'd hoped. One last corkscrew and International B was ours. Now to round out the package and get International A, Circle Test Knowledge helped me get silver despite the slippery Viper. More piss-easy rally tests. Up the hill, down the hill. One pair of high-speed corners later, we now have all licenses and can do anything in the game. Which meant it was time to outfit the Cougar with some stickier tires and spend a couple of nights in Seattle listening to some Pearl Jam or Foo Fighters. Oh, and racing muscle cars. Even though I blew all my money on tires, it was worth every penny for the improved grip. The race at Seattle Short gives us the PT Spider, which I sell to make a nice 20,000 credit profit. I could either sink more money into the Cougar or go for a new car. I decided on the former. Going to the full Seattle circuit and the upgrades really paid for themselves. This is the Gran Turismo 2 I know and love. But now the Cougar sounds less like a cat and more like a bee. I love old Gran Turismo engine sounds since they were mostly inaccurate. The Cobra we won was the wrong color, but I'm not complaining about a large influx of credits. With those credits, I beefed up the Cougar a bit more and sent it to Laguna Seca to finish off the Muscle Car Cup. Okay, that new exhaust sounds better than whatever bee the Cougar ate. Probably a Bumblebee since it was faster than a Camaro, and every other car for that matter. The Chrysler Phaeton gives us an additional 25k for selling it, giving us over 35k for winning this race. After some deliberation, I swapped over to the Beat and upgraded it for the last race of K-Car Cup. I once again consulted T. Kanji's righteous tome of Gran Turismo tuning and realized I should be buying super soft slicks because apparently tires wear down at the same rate regardless of the compound. Applying the gear trick and testing the Beat, we started on our way to Tahiti Road, only to realize that we already beat it and wasted our money in the process. That's okay, we can still attempt to beat the Beat later. Might as well finish off Sunday Cup with a Cougar. With its new tune, the Cougar shot off like a rocket and didn't look back. It still didn't handle well, but that's just the nature of old muscle cars. Sunday Cup is done, and now we can try something else. I wanted another shot at a yellow Shelby Cobra, so I traveled back to Seattle. But turn 1 Seattle, though. We tried again and won, but a yellow Cobra eluded us, so I prepped myself for what I would do tomorrow. I wanted to buy a yellow Lancer Evo from the used car dealer, but it cycled out after the past 2 races, and that left me out of luck. So I instead went to buy a Nissan 300ZX in yellow as my main platform for FR Challenge. And how about a little throwback? And it's got a yellow racing modification that gives it the Pennzoil livery. I have got to get that at some point. Not now though, not enough money. With a yellow 300ZX ready for FR Challenge, I called it a night. This Z is no devil. Wait! Yellow Devil from Mega Man! That's what this Z's called! Yellow Devil is a very handsome car. I just hope his performance can back up his looks. This day was a bit shorter because I had to do my part to protect Super Earth with my friends that night. So I played GT2 earlier. I've already committed to running the Yellow Devil Z in FR Challenge, so we set off to Clubman Stage Route 5. With around 276 of the finest twin-turbo horses, the Yellow Devil made short work of the Silvias and BMWs. A lovely purple Sil 80 was the prize, but I might go back and try to get it in yellow. I went and upgraded the Z, but did so in a way that put it over the horsepower limit for Race 2. Whoops. After down-tuning it, we could go back to Route 5. Unsurprisingly, the Z was too quick for the other cars. And before you ask, lower trim Nissan Skylines were rear-wheel drive. We sell the Nismo 270R and head to Midfield Raceway, making sure the car had the correct parts installed. And no surprise here, the Yellow Devil runs away from the pack. I didn't even get the pleasure of watching the other cars go off track at the hairpin. Well, that's what replays are for. And out with the blue Mazda RX-7 GTC. After perusing the used car dealers again, I remembered to go run Beat the Beat at Honda. There's no prize car for winning it, and it only gives out 3,000 credits, but I just had to do it after tuning the Beat for a race I had already won. Fate sent us to Rome's short reverse, and the Mugen Beat was too quick. I mean, it was quick for a heavily tuned K car. I've always found the history of the ABC K sports cars fascinating, with A being AutoZam AZ1, B being Honda Beat, and C being Suzuki Cappuccino. After winning Beat the Beat, I give in to temptation and pull the trigger on the A-Spec RX-7 in competition yellow. I was surprised to see that it had a racing modification, and not just any mod because
it's pink.
But since it was pink, I couldn't install it. With our new RX-7, we went back to Clubman Route 5 to get the Sil 80 in yellow. The RX-7 proved to be a bit slippery, kinda like a banana peel. The banana peel thankfully didn't spin out during the race, but the other sports cars were hot on its tail. Even after winning, we still didn't get the Sil 80 in the correct color. But the extra cash from the purple Sil 80 gave me enough money to put the banana peel on some nice black Speedline rims. I needed more money, so it was back to the Cobra Farms of Seattle. And nope, this time it was the red Cobra. But hey, 75 grand, I'm not complaining in the slightest. Might as well finish off the Clubman Cup. No problems at all for the Yellow Devil, even outperforming a Jaguar XK. But the 300ZX doesn't have the most precise handling, even after tuning. In the pantheon of sports cars, the 300ZX is more of a Grand Tourer with its long wheelbase, like the Jaguar XK. Again, no prize cars for Clubman Cup, just another sum of dough, which I used to buy some nice rims for the Cougar. That was all I could do for the day, though. I went to get a haircut and then later joined up with a few of the Buffalo Boys and my fellow Helldivers in the ongoing galactic war. You know, for democracy. Sorry, but this part is over. See you next time.